sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tayo, tayo na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very.
Good afternoon, Constellation of Stars.
Especially to our senior high school learners who are with us in our FB Live.
Welcome to Astral Academy Cyber School. We are still live in Dipitayo Tangub and Astral Academy Cyber School and YouTube channel.
I am Jade Mark Abapo from Tangub City National High School.
And I am Siti Badria Datodakula, also from Tangub City National High School.
And we are your teacher facilitators today.
Assalamualaikum, Sir Jerd Mark. Peace be upon you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Bads, and also with you.
Yes.
We are thankful for this wonderful day, and to our learners who are watching with us today. I hope you are all in a comfortable place.
Today is January 18, 2022, and we are going to have a short review about our previous topics in the subject, Understanding Culture, Society, and Politics.
So, let us proceed with the learning competency. Explain the forms and functions of state and non-state institutions. So, Ma'am Bads, we will be talking about state and non-state institutions. So, learners, please prepare yourself learning materials and stay tuned because we'll be right back after a short break. And we are back, still here in Astral Academy Cyber School. Okay, ma'am, so since our competency has something to do with institutions, let us first define what is institution.
Okay, Ma'am, Sir Abapo. So, institution based on Encyclopedia Britannica, it is composed of a set of formal rules, informal norms, or agreed-upon understanding that constrain and prescribe political actors' behavior and interaction with one another.
Okay, ma'am, so the main function of an institution is to keep society in order and implement specific tasks assigned to them. Example, educational, economic, political, and social institutions all have different objectives and caters to different groups of people.
Okay, so Sir Abapo, so let us also know the characteristics of an institution. So we have here, number one, is a cluster of social usage or educational institution. So number two, the relative degree of permanence, which is mga banks. Yes. And number three is known as define the objectives of institutions. So we also have the number four, bait resistance for social changes due to solidified beliefs. And the last one, we have the transmitter of social heritage. Okay, so sir, so now let us explain first what is the state institution, by the way.
Okay, so state institutions are institutions that have state functions and are established to govern the state. And also are government agencies. The government itself is the main agency through which the will of the state is carried out. And its branches and departments are part of it, being instituted to implement the programs of the government and thereby aim and goals of the state.
Okay, the government agencies of the Republic of the Philippines, so we have here an examples of government agencies. So first is we have the Department of Education, of course.
Yes.
Dito tayo belong, Sir Abab.
Yes, DepEd.
Yes, and we also have the DENR, or Department of Environment and Natural Resources. And we also have the Department of Interior and Local Government. Yan yung sa LGU natin.
The ILG.
Yes, the ILG. And of course, we have the DOH, or yung mga frontliners karon, mga
Department
nurses,
of
the
Health.
doctors.
Yes, under sila sa
So,
Department of Health.
Yeah, Department of Health. And we also have the DA, or Department of Agriculture. Of course, pinaka-importante po ni kasi foods, di ba?
Yes, ang tuang mga panganoadlaw nga kinahanglan nun.
Yes, mga farmers nato.
Yes.
And we also have the Department of Agrarian Reform. And now, as you can see that we also have the Constitutional Commission. So ito sila ang mga independent government. Yes, we have the Civil Service Commission. So lahi ni sila, independent ni sila. Just like the Commission on Elections. Of course, kailangan sa election kaning mga COMELEC non-partisan.
Yes,
diba?
dapat wala
We are
sila
independent.
gidapigan.
Yes, of course. And we also have the Commission on Audit. So kanipod sila, they are independent. Of course, bahalag kinsa.
Bisag kinsa
Bisag
dapat
kinsa, wala.
dapat fair ilahang pagkuan.
Sila may mag-audit kung
Yes.
sa mga corrupt officials if
Yes.
there is. Okay, so we last one is the Commission on
Human
Human Rights,
Rights.
of course.
Okay, Ma'am Baz. Aside from that, we also have GOCCs, or government-owned or controlled corporations such as GSIS, Pag-ibig, NFA, PHIC, and SSS. So, let us proceed to the non-state institutions. So, what is non-state institutions, Ma'am Baz?
Yes, okay. So when I say non-state institution or non-state actors, this is the groups and organization which operate outside the support of any state or government. So they are not financed by the government. So they are non-state institutions. So group and organization which operate outside the support of any state government. And they also have it refers to the stateless, since they are considered to be independent of any state. Although they usually collaborate with the government in implementing projects. So although they are non-state, but they need to collaborate with the government. Dili pwede kay tungod sa independent sila, dili na
Dili na po sila mo
collaborate sa atong government. Of
government.
course, they need to. And of course, non-state institutions assume different functions and focus on specific objectives. So, in general, they develop certain services needed by members of the society for their progress.
Okay.
Progress, yes.
So for the non-state institutions, it includes, no, the first one is the
Yes.
banks, no,
Of
and
course.
the second one is the corporations, the third one is the cooperatives, trade unions, advocacy groups, and international organizations. So for the banks, it is a financial institution licensed to provide several financial services to different types of customers. What are the functions? So the first one there is deposit and lending function. So of course kita kung natin i-deposit, of course ato na sa bangko. Yes. And the second one is the financial intermediation. The third one is remittance or sending money. And the fourth one is a currency exchange, and the fifth one is a safety deposit boxes. So example anang mga bangko is ang DBP or Department of
And BDO.
B-
We have
B-
banks in the Philippines. So dagan
BDO, yes, and LBP or the Land Bank, no, of the
Okay.
Philippines.
Yes, and then we also have the corporation. So corporation is an organization created by group of people known as shareholders, which is legally recognized and to act as a single person in carrying out certain goals and objectives. So an example is of course Petron. Kani mga
Yes.
gasoline
Mga
stations
station.
sa Petron. So that
So
is
those are corporation.
Yes.
Yes.
Another one is parang sikat ni siya sa Philippines, ang Ayala Corporations, of course. And we also have the San Miguel
Corporation.
Corporations. Okay.
Okay, so cooperatives, according to the International Labor Organization or ILO, it is an autonomous association of persons united voluntarily to meet their common economic, social, and cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. So example ana is the FICCO or the
Yes, FICO. And okay, another one is cooperative. So cooperative exists among different industries and composed of different types of people. May it be farmers, consumers, or workers. So kanang cooperatives gihimo na sa kanang mga private individual, pwede sila mga farmers, mga consumers. So naa na sila yung mga cooperatives.
Okay.
So
So of course, there are types of cooperatives. The first one is the credit cooperative. So it is to provide financial services to its members, of course, no. And the second one is there is a consumer cooperative. So it obtains and distributes products and commodities to its customers, both members and non-members. The third one is producer cooperatives. Aids those in the sector of production, either agricultural or industrial. And the last one is the multi-purpose cooperative. So kung kita ani nga kung ano nga type, no,
yes.
familiar,
Kaayo,
yes, undertakes two or more functions of different cooperatives.
Okay, another non-state is we have the trade unions or labor unions in an organization with a membership composed of workers or employees from related fields, which aim to represent the interests and rights of its members both in the workplace and in the society. An example is bulwagan ng manggagawang Pilipino or katipunan ng mga anak pawis sa Pilipinas. So mauni sila, actually they form these trade unions, they have related fields of work. So parang pari-pareho sila ng trabaho, then naghimo sila ani. So kanang anak pawis kay di ba makita sila sa TV
Yes,
na mayroon silang pinaglalaban. So that's why naa sila trade unions para mas strong pa ang ilahang samahan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so next is the advocacy group, no, as a collection of actors or individuals or groups characterized by their fluid and open relations with each other, united by their commitment to work on and defend certain issues and causes that are relevant, no, across several nations. So these groups spread information in support of a cause across borders in an attempt to change, no, international policies and practices. So membership can be local or transnationals. So example of that, ang PETA o PETA,
Yes.
WWF, Philippine Alliance of Human Rights Advocates, Amnesty International Philippines, and these are all a non-government organization or NGO.
Yes, lahat yan sila ay belong sa NGO or non-governmental organization.
Yes.
So we have the development agencies.
Agencies.
So were formed as a response to crises like war damage, industrial decline. In some countries, such as agencies were established with the hope of stimulating economic development. Post-war, an example is the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO. Okay, so we also have the United Nations Development Program, or UNDP. Okay.
Okay, so we have here also international organizations refers to institutions established by 3 or more states as voluntary members in order to promote cooperation and coordination among them. So muna siya ang international organizations.
Okay, yes, Sir Abapo. So, international organization provides an avenue for the different countries and state to connect. This connection among countries help form international laws, norms, and ideas, which in turn strengthen the relationship among members of the states. Okay.
Okay, so the main feature of an international organization, ma'am, is it is composed of national states or government. So example of that is the World Health Organization, WHO, the World Health Organization, International Labor Organization or the ILO, the ASEAN, EU, and UN.
Okay, so stay tuned because we will be right back after a short break.
This is Astral Academy Cyber School.
Tayo, tayo na. Buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo, tayo na. Tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tayo, tayo na. very fine, masaya.
And we are back, still here in Astral Academy Cyber School. Okay, so
For the activity,
activity,
of our
no,
learners.
for you to learn more, no, with the competency explain, no, the
Yes.
forms and functions of the state and non-state
Organization.
organization. So, ang inyong buhaton is you are going to compare and contrast, no,
Yes.
for example sa state and non-state. So, ang state is financed by the
Government.
government.
Yes.
While the non-state, mambads,
They are not financed by the government
Okay.
or kanang, di ba, as we discussed earlier that when I say state, an example of states is the mga departments, atong mga department agencies. So, of course, ang sweldo nila is gikan sa gobyerno,
Yes.
of course. Okay, so Department of Education, mauna sila ang mga sa state,
Yes,
of
okay.
course. So they are going to differentiate the two, the state and non-state organizations.
yes,
So,
and of course they can use the Venn diagram, no, in
Yes,
para
yes.
maka-compare sila
Oh.
kung unsay kalahian gyud sa non-state and state. Okay, so thank you so much, Mambads. Okay, Mambads.
Okay, to the senior high school learners, please check the second attendance marker on the top of your screens. Okay. So SHS stars, we hope that you earned something from our discussion today. If you have any questions or comments about the topics, please write it down below. Okay. So we hope our learners have a very good time while watching our FB Live. So this has been your Ma'am City Badria Dato Dakula from Tangub City National High School.
And your teacher, Jade Marcy Abapo from Tangum City National High School. Thank you for watching and have a productive day ahead. Keep safe, everyone. See you next week. Bye.
Tayo na. Buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo na. Tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na.
the Department of Education, Division of Tangub City, in partnership with the local government unit of Tangub, presents Ang Tangkub, Transforming Advancement in the New Normal, guiding K-12 learners under broadcast media and instructional program crafted in response to the need of making education possible and accessible to students at the comfort of their homes. It covers the most essential competencies, thematically layered in drama plays which were originally written, directed, and performed by teachers to see to it that education is securely provided. This is Ang Tangkub.
Tayo na. Buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo na. Tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tayo na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tangkub, tangkub time.
Tangkub City, simply home. Tangkub City, simply home. This is our place, Tangkub City. There is so much you can see. A paradise from nature's best. It's a beauty among the rest. Rich in culture and history, it has a colorful festivity. One people in harmony, one people in great revelry. Tangkub City is proudly celebrating milestones and City, Tanggap City is a place to be. Tanggap City is proudly celebrating milestones and beyond. A never-ending celebration, a joy for everyone. Come and join us, let's all have fun. It's the legacy that we have done. A brighter future of our city is at hand. Gearing for progress and development. People remain focused to their commitment. Preserving the tradition of good values into Tanggap City, simply call our home. Tanggap City is proudly celebrating milestones and beyond. A never-ending celebration, a joy for everyone. Come and join us, let's all have fun. It's a legacy that we have done. A brighter future of our city is at hand. Brighter future, Tanggap City, simply home. Tanggap City, simply home. Tanggap City.
Mapina, mag-aral na sa ating kultura. Mga sariling musika, may arts at PE pa. Okay, saya, sayang kumanta. Halika na, humanda na dahil mapina. Umawit at gumuhit-guhit. Mag-exercise, pampalakas. O kay saya ng buhay estudyante, lalo na kung tayo'y mapina. Mag-aral na sa ating kultura. Mga sariling musika, may arts at PE pa. Okay, saya, sayang kumanta. Halika na, humanda na dahil mapina. Umawit at gumuhit-guhit. Mag-exercise, pampalakas. O kay saya ng buhay estudyante, lalo na kung tayo'y mapina. Dali na mag-science na kita, mag-observe o mag-discover ta. Living things o non-living things, mga stars o mga planeta, mga stars o mga planeta, mga stars o mga planeta. Edukasyon sa pagpapakatao ang kailangan ng mundo upang matutong pakikipagkapwa-tao, mabuti ang loob at maginoo. Mag-aral na tayo ng ESP, mag-aral na tayo ng ESP.
The Department of Education, Division of Dangub City, in partnership with the local government unit of Dangub, presents Ang Tangkub, transforming advancement in the new normal, guiding K-12 learners under broadcast media, crafted in response to the need of making education possible and accessible to students at the comfort of their homes. It covers the most essential competencies thematically layered in drama plays, which were originally written, directed, and performed by teachers to see to it that education is securely provided. This is Ang Tangkub.
It's Tangkub, Tangkub, Tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fun, masaya. Tangkub time.
Welcome back mga grade 7 mechanics. Today is another brand new day to learn another lesson in mathematics.
Dito sa nag-isang programa nyo,
Ang Tangkub! We learn all things, ang saya! Ready na ba kayo? Hooray!
now let us begin.
This time, learners, stay tuned and get prepared, for we will tackle new lesson. This is all about differentiating algebraic expressions, equations, and inequalities. Now, to clearly differentiate algebraic expressions, equations, and inequalities, let us have their definitions and examples. When we say algebraic expression or simply an expression, it is a mathematical phrase indicating a number, a variable, or a combination of numbers and variables and operation symbols. Example: 7x. 7x is an algebraic expression since it is a combination of a number, which is 7, and a variable, which is x, being multiplied together. Now, how about this example? Y minus 10. Right, this is an example of algebraic expression since it is a combination of a variable y and a number 10 together with the operation symbol. Now, how about an equation? Or what is an equation? Well, equation is a mathematical statement indicating that two expressions are equal. It uses the equality symbol. Here are some examples of equation. We have negative 2x is equal to 4. This equation indicates that the two expressions negative 2x and 4 are equal. In the second equation, we have 4 is equal to 7 plus y. In this equation, this shows the equality of the two expressions 4 and 7 plus y. The next example is 12 minus 3 is equal to 9. In this equation, it indicates that the two expressions 12 minus 3 and 9 are equal. Next is inequality. What do you mean by inequality? Inequality is a mathematical statement indicating that an expression is less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or not equal to another expression. It uses the symbols less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or not equal. Here are some examples of inequality. First, we have m is less than negative 11. In this inequality, it indicates that the expression m is less than the expression negative 11. Next inequality is 2 is greater than negative 5. This inequality shows that 2 is greater than negative 5. Another is 12z plus 4 is greater than or equal to negative 2. This inequality shows that the expression 12z plus 4 is greater than or equal to negative 2. Now, learners, it's your turn to try. Identify whether the given mathematical phrase or statement is an expression, equation, or inequality. First, negative y is equal to 12. Right, this is called an equation. Another, y is less than 4. Correct. This is called an inequality. How about this one? X to the power of 4 minus 13x. Very good. This is an example of expression. Do you get it? Good. Easy, right? Learners, take note. The symbol used for an equation is the equal symbol, while the symbols for an inequality are less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, less than, greater than, and not equal. And when we say algebraic expression, it doesn't use equal signs nor inequality signs. Complicated? No. Now, since you have learned already differentiating expressions, equations, and inequality, it's time to get your activity sheet in this lesson and answer the given activity. Let us read the directions. Identify whether each mathematical phrase or statement is an algebraic expression, equation, or inequality? Write your answer on the space provided. Activity B. Write your own examples of algebraic expression, equation, and inequality. Write your answer on the table provided.
Take your time in answering the activities. If you have questions or clarifications, you may contact the number of your teacher printed below your activity sheet. To end, always remember that the essence of mathematics is not to make simple things complicated, but to make complicated things simple. Grade 8 learners, stay tuned and get ready for Math 8 is coming next. Good luck and God bless everyone! Hello! Welcome back mga grade 8 Mathenics!
Today is another brand new day to learn another lesson in mathematics.
Dito sa nag-isang programa nyo, ang Tangkub! We learn all things, ang saya!
Last episode, we already learned if-then statements and its inverse, converse, and contrapositive. Today, learners, stay tuned and bear with us today, for we will tackle another lesson, a continuation topic of an if-then statement. This is the equivalences of the statements. First, what do we mean by logically equivalent statements? When we say logically equivalent statements, these are statements that have the same logical content. Example, the truth value. Now, how can we determine truth value of the conditional statement? Recall that the implication or conditional statement is always true except in the case that P is true and Q is false. See the truth table for the implications below. The truth value of conditional statement is either true or false. It is false only when the hypothesis is true and the conclusion is false. Let us have an example. Determine the truth value of the following related conditionals. The given conditional statement is, if a shape is a triangle, then it is a polygon. If we're going to check the given statement, it is true, since all triangles are polygons. The converse of this statement would be, if a shape is a polygon, then it is a triangle. Analyze the converse. Is it true? If not, give a counterexample. When we say counterexample, it is any example that shows the statement is false. Well, in this case, the converse is false because a square is also polygon. It is not necessarily a triangle. Square is what we call the counterexample. The inverse of this statement would be, if a shape is not a triangle, then it is not a polygon. The inverse is false because a square is not a triangle, but it is a polygon. Contrapositive of this statement would be, if a shape is not a polygon, then it is not a triangle. A contrapositive is true, since you cannot find a shape which is not a polygon but a triangle. From the example, notice that the given statement and its contrapositive have the same truth value. Therefore, the conditional statement is logically equivalent to its contrapositive. Likewise, with the converse of a statement is logically equivalent to the inverse of a statement. Now let us have another example. Illustrate the equivalences of the statement and its contrapositive, and the converse and inverse of a statement. The given statement is, if a number is divisible by 2, then it is divisible by 4. This given statement is false. Counterexample would be 6 is divisible by 2 but not divisible by 4. Converse of the statement. If a number is divisible by 4, then it is divisible by 2. The converse is true. Inverse of this statement is, if a number is not divisible by 2, then it is not divisible by 4. The inverse is also true. Contrapositive is, if a number is not divisible by 4, then it is not divisible by 2. The contrapositive is false. Counterexample would be 6 is not divisible by 4 but divisible by 2. Therefore, the statement and its contrapositive are both false, while the converse and inverse of the statements are both true. Thus, the statement and its contrapositive and the converse and inverse of a statement are logically equivalent. Complicated? No. Now, since you already learned to write direct and indirect proof, then it's time to get your activity sheets in this lesson and answer the given activity.
Just take your time in answering the activities.
Now, if you have questions or clarifications, you may contact the number of your teachers printed below your activity sheets. To end, remember this quote: if you can't run, then walk. If you cannot walk, then crawl.
Whatever you do doesn't matter. What matters most is that you keep life moving forward.
Grade 9 learners, stay tuned and get ready for Math 9 is coming next. Good luck and God bless everyone! Welcome back mga grade 9 Mathematics.
Today is another brand new day to learn another lesson in mathematics.
Dito sa nag-isang programa nyo,
Ang Tangko. We learn all things ang saya. Ready na ba kayo?
hooray! Now, let us begin.
Last episode, you have learned how to perform operations on radicals. Now, how about solving equations involving radical expressions? Well, learners, stay tuned and get prepared, for we will tackle a new lesson. This is all about radical equations. When we say radical equation, it is an equation in which a variable is under a radical. Let us have examples. These are examples of radical equations. Notice that the variable is under the radical symbol, and these are non-examples of radical equations, since there is no variable under the radical symbol. Again, take note that radical equation is an equation in which a variable is under a radical symbol. Now, how to solve radical equations? Well, let us have an example. Solve cube root of x minus 2 is equal to 3. To solve this, let us first write our original equation. Next, isolate the radical that contains the variable. But in our example, isolating the radical that contains the variable, we are going to apply addition property of equality. So, we are going to add both sides by 2. So, we now have cube root of x minus 2 plus 2 is equal to 3 plus 2. Simplifying, negative 2 plus 2 is equal to 0. So, on our left side of our equation, we have cube root of x left. And on the right side of our equation, we have 3 plus 2. But 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. So, we now have cube root of x is equal to 5. Next to isolating the radical that contains the variable, we are going to eliminate the radical. But to eliminate it, we raise each side of the equation to the index of the radical. Now, since the index of the radical is 3, so we are going to raise both sides of the equation by the power of 3. So we now have the quantity of the cube root of x to the power of 3 is equal to 5 to the power of 3. Now let's simplify. The quantity of the cube root of x cubed is equal to x. And 5 cubed or 5 to the power of 3 is equal to 125. Therefore, the value of x in our given equation is equal to 125. Now to check if our answer is correct, then we can substitute the value of x in our original equation. So we now have, copying the given first, cube root of x minus 2 is equal to 3. Substituting 125 to the value of x, we have cube root of 125 minus 2 is equal to 3. Simplifying, cube root of 125 is equal to, right, it is 5. So we have 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. So 3 is equal to 3, which is a true statement. Therefore, the solution of a radical equation, cube root of x minus 2 is equal to 3, is 125. Easy, right? Now, since you know already how to solve radical equations, then it's time to get your activity sheet in this lesson and answer this activity.
Take your time in answering the activity.
Now, if you have questions or clarifications, you may contact the number of your teacher printed below your activity sheet.
To end, always remember that our life is like math. At this time of pandemic, we must add patience and happiness. Subtract hatred and anger.
Multiply hope and divide love for everyone to share. Grade 10 learners, stay tuned and get ready for Math 10 is coming next.
Good luck and God bless everyone.
Welcome back mga grade 10 Mathematics.
Today is another brand new day to learn another lesson in mathematics.
Dito sa nag-isang programa nyo,
Ang Tangkub! We learn all things, ang saya! Ready na ba kayo?
hooray! Now, let us begin. Last episode, we already illustrated the center radius form of the equation of a circle and determined the center and radius of a circle given its equation and vice versa. Now learners, stay tuned and bear with us today, for we will learn another lesson, and this is all about graphing circle and other geometric figures on the coordinate plane. First, let us learn how to graph circle whose center is at the origin. To graph a circle with center at the origin, simply get the radius using this formula. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. And to locate the radius, start from the origin r units to the left, right, above, and below. Then connect it with smooth curve to form a round circle. Let us have an example. Draw the graph of a circle given an equation x squared plus y squared equals 25. Based on the given equation, it is understood that the center of the circle is at the origin, and the radius or r is equal to 5, since the square root of 25 is 5. Now locating the radius on the graph, we start from the origin, 5 units to the left, right, above, and below the origin. Then, connect it with smooth curve to form a round circle. Therefore, this is now the graph of the circle Given an equation x squared plus y squared equals 25. Easy, right? Now let us proceed to graphing a circle given the standard form of the equation of a circle, and that is the square of the quantity x minus h plus the square of the quantity y minus k equals r squared, or this is also known as the center radius form of an equation of a circle. Now to graph the standard equation or the center radius form, all you need to do is plot the center of the circle at point hk and then count out from the center r units in 4 directions: right, left, above, and below. Then connect these 4 points with the smooth curve to form a round circle. Let us have an example. Draw the graph of the standard form of the circle. Given an equation, the square of the quantity x minus 1 plus the square of the quantity y plus 5 equals 100, and determine the center and the radius. Now to graph this, first, we know that the standard form of the equation of the circle, the square of the quantity x minus 1 plus the square of the quantity y plus 5 equals 100, can be written in the form the square of the quantity x minus h plus the square of the quantity y minus k equals r squared. Thus, this implies that the square of x minus 1 plus the square of y plus 5 equals 100 can be written as the square of x minus 1 plus the square of y minus negative 5 equals 10 squared. Thus, the center of the circle given this equation is 1, negative 5, and its radius is 10 units. Now to graph, we first locate the center 1, negative 5, and from this center, we move 10 units to the right, left, above, and below. Then connect these 4 points with smooth curve to form a round circle. Therefore, this is now the graph of the circle given an equation, the square of x minus 1 plus the square of y plus 5 equals 100 with the center 1, negative 5, and the radius 10. Do you get it? Good. Now let us proceed to the next graphing. Graphing the general equation of the circle x squared plus y squared plus dx plus ey plus f equals 0. In order to graph the general equation of a circle, you need to transform or rewrite this equation to a standard form or center radius form. And to graph the general equation of a circle, you must first complete the square and then work it on into center radius form. Now let us have an example. Draw the graph of a circle x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 10y plus 18 equals 0. And find the center and the radius of the circle. Now to graph this, the equation of the circle x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 10y plus 18 equals 0 is written in general form. Now to determine its center and its radius, we have to rewrite this equation into center radius form, the quantity of x minus h squared plus the quantity of y minus k squared equals r squared. And this implies x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 10y plus 18 equals 0 could be written into x squared minus 6x plus y squared minus 10y equals negative 18. Add to both sides of the equation x squared minus 6x plus y squared minus 10y equals negative 18 the square of 1/2 the coefficient of x and the square of 1/2 the coefficient of y. Half of negative 6 is equal to negative 3, and the square of negative 3 is equal to 9. Half of negative 10 is equal to negative 5, and the square of negative 5 is equal to 25. So this simply means that the equation would now then be x squared plus negative 6x plus 9 plus y squared minus 10y plus 25 equals negative 18 plus 9 plus 25. Simplifying, we now have x squared plus negative 6x plus 9 plus y squared minus 10y plus 25 equals 16. Grouping these equations, we now have x squared plus negative 6x plus 9 plus y squared minus 10y plus 25 equals 16. Factor in the first group, x squared plus negative 6x plus 9 can be written as the square of x minus 3. And factoring the second group, y squared minus 10y plus 25, this would be equal to the square of y minus 5. So rewriting, we can now obtain the square of x minus 3 plus the square of y minus 5 equals 16, or the square of x minus 3 plus the square of y minus 5 is equal to 4 squared. Thus, the center of the circle is at the point positive 3, positive 5, and its radius is 4. Now to graph, we plot first the point 3, 5, and from this point, we move 4 units to the right, left, above, and below. Then connect these 4 points with smooth curve to form a round circle. Therefore, this is now the graph of a circle given an equation x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 10y plus 18 equals 0, with a center positive 3, positive 5, and its radius positive 4. Easy, right? Now let us have the last graphing, and that is graphing other geometrical figures in the coordinate plane. In your previous grade, you learned how to plot point in coordinate plane. This time, you can graph other geometrical figures using your previous knowledge in plotting points. Now to plot any point, start at the origin, where the two axes cross. The first number tells you how far to go to the right if it's positive, or left if it's negative, along the horizontal axis, while the second number tells you how far to go above if positive, or below if negative, along the vertical axis. Then connect the points with segment to form a geometrical figure. Let us have an example. Draw the graph of the given coordinates, negative 4, 0 as point A, 0, 6 as point B, and 4, 0 as point C. So to graph, plot each set of points on the coordinate plane, then connect the consecutive points by line segment and describe each figure form. Therefore, this is the graph of the given coordinates. The triangle form is an isosceles triangle, since segment AB is congruent to segment BC. Complicated? No. Now, since you already learned to graph and solve problems involving circles and other geometric figures in the coordinate plane, then it's time to get your activity sheet in this lesson and answer the given activity. Let us read the direction. Activity A. Draw the graph of each of the following equations of a circle. Activity B. Name the missing coordinates in terms of the given variables and describe each figure.
Just take your time in answering the activities.
Now, if you have questions or clarifications, you may contact the number of your teacher printed below your activity sheet. To end, always remember that life is like circles. What goes around comes around.
What goes up must come down.
Good luck and God bless everyone! We hope that you have learned the most essential lessons you need to master. See you on our next episodes. This has been Ang Tangkub.
It's tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fun. Masaya. Tungkol lang.
Kung gusto mong maglingaw-lingaw, mga tawag magloling hayaw, mag-joyride na. Uba na ang imong barkada, silingan ug pamilya, mag-joyride na. Sination tang palibot, mga lugar sulod sa tanggob, mag-ubanta. Tan silang gato makilaw, sa sanabog sa pulaw, laagon ta. Labi na yun sa huyuhoy, Nang dapit daghan og kahoy talanan. Maglibot tanggok kita. Maglipay-lipay, magsakay-sakay tala. Maghihiusap, maghihigala. Let's get together, make life feel better. Kung gusto ka og entertainment, for fun and for enjoyment, no problem ka. Sinanduloy among pambato, kumusayo smart kaayo, believe jud ka. Panahon sad sa Disyembre, super kid ka aligre, malingaw gyud ka. Fireworks display daghang ganahan, musidlak sa kalangitan, mapawagid ka. Christmas symbols, capital of the Philippines. Dinira na ninyo makita friends, diba? Diri sa tanggok, maglibot tanggok kita. Maglipay-lipay, magsakay-sakay tala. Maghihiusap, maghihigala. Let's get together, make life feel better. Makita friends, diba? Hapit sa tanggok, maglibot tanggok kita. Maglipay-lipay, magsakay-sakay tala. Maglibot tanggok, maglibot tanggok kita. Maglibot tanggok, maglibot tanggok kita. Maglibot tanggok, maglibot tanggok kita. Maghihiusap, maghihigala. Let's get together, make life feel better.
Matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo na. Tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another with love.
the Department of Education, Division of Dangub City, in partnership with the local government unit of Dangub, presents Ang Tangkub, Transforming Advancement in the New Normal, guiding K-12 learners under broadcast media and instructional program crafted in response to the need of making education possible and accessible to students at the comfort of their homes. It covers the most essential competencies, thematically layered in drama plays which were originally written, directed, and performed by teachers to see to it that education is securely provided. This is Ang Tangkub.
Tayo na, buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo na, tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tayo na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time.
Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to Astral Academy Cyber School. Of course, we're live na live today via the Tango Facebook page and of course, Astral Academy Facebook page. Okay, so today is Tuesday and pag Tuesday, kami ang inyong makauban today. Again, I am Miss Elvin Nueva.
And of course, Ma'am Gay Soterio Saavedra. Learners, welcome sa ito Quarter 2, Week 9 here in Astral Academy Cyber School. So now, since karon Tuesday man, so don't forget, basta Tuesday, it is of course Mathematics Day for our grade 7 to grade 10 learners.
Correct, Ma'am Gay. So welcome mga Mathenics. Alright, so we will start our discussion after our short break. This is Astral Academy Cyber School. And we're back, still here in Astral Academy Cyber School. Alright, so Ma'am Gay, mag-start na itong grade 7 topic for this week.
Yes, so for grade 7 mathematics, mo na itong competency, we're going to differentiate algebraic expressions, equations, and inequalities. So karon day Ma'am LV, focus ta aning pag-ila-ila o pag-differentiate, no? So unsa kay kalainan aning tulo ka terms? We have algebraic expressions, equations, and inequalities.
Right.
So to start with, of course, we are going to define first algebraic expression. Okay? So here, when we say algebraic expression, it is also called, or simply an expression, is a mathematical phrase indicating a number, a variable, or a combination of numbers and variables and operation symbols. So again, basta gani algebraic expression, pwede na ta makaingon og expression. Okay, so same na sila. It could be expression or algebraic expression. So an algebraic expression or an expression could be a number, a variable, or pwede po combination sa duha, combination sa number o variable with the operation symbol. So now, let us have an example of unsa din si algebraic expression. So again, algebraic expression could be a number, a variable, or combination ni number o variable with the operation symbol. So how about this one, learners? We have, okay, here. We have here y over 10. So y over 10 is an example of algebraic expression. As you can see, we have a variable which is y, and of course a number which is 10, together with the operation symbols, unsa man nga symbol kaning naay bar line. Of course, division. So since it is a combination of a variable and a number with the operation symbol division, then again y over 10 is an example of algebraic expression, or simply an expression. Another, how about this one? Okay, if we have x minus 20, si x minus 20 ba, matawag ba natog algebraic expression? Well, kung atong susihon, we have a variable. We have a variable x here, and a number, 20, with the operation symbol, minus or subtraction symbol. So since it is a combination of a number, a variable, and an operation symbol, then x minus 20 is an algebraic expression. Okay? So ingon ana ra gyud ka simple si algebraic expression. So as you notice, wala tay makita nga equal symbol or inequality symbol.
Yes.
Now, since we are done with algebraic expression, so ato na punta ni equation. So unsa man ni si equation? Well, mo ni ang definition ni equation. So when we say equation, it is a mathematical statement indicating that the two expressions are equal. It uses the equality symbol, this one, Okay? So, sayon na kay pag-determine og equation ba ang given or dili. Kay basta gana equation, magamit gyud og equal symbol. So, but sa equation, kay naa may equal symbol, so nagitay makita nga expression sa left side o sa right side. So, equation indicates that the two expressions are equal. Example. Okay, here. If we have an expression, an equation. Okay, here. This is an example of equation. X plus 10 is equal to 20. As you can see, we have an equal symbol. And then, natay expression sa left side, naputay expression sa right side. So, this equation means that the expression day nga x plus 10 is equal ni 20. Okay? So, here. Another, how about this one? If we have okay, here. M over 2 is equal to 4. Of course, equation, good, ang tawag ani niya. It's because we have an equal sign or equal symbol. And then, na expression sa left side, which is M over 2. And sa right side po, na 4. So, this equation indicates that sa expression diay nga M over 2 is equal ni 4. So, ana lang kasimple sa equation, na equal sign, na expression sa left side and right side. It indicates that ang duha ka expressions are equal. Okay? Now, how about the last one? We have inequality. So, when we say inequality, it is a mathematical statement indicating that an expression is less than, we have greater than, less than or equal to, and then greater than or equal to, and not equal, okay, to another expression. So, from the words, inequality class comes from the word unequal, no? Unequal, that means not equal. So, kung sa equation, equal, nagamit ang equal sign, sa inequality po, magamit aning 5, no? 5 ka symbol. So, we have, so unsa may mga inequality symbols. So, naatay, less than. Okay? We have also less than or equal to. We have also greater than. We have also greater than or equal to, or could be the not equal. Okay? So, sa inequality class means that ang isa ka expression could be less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or not equal sa another nga expression. Okay? So, let us have an example ni inequality. So, this one. Okay. Y is greater than or equal to 3. Of course, this is an example of inequality. As you can see, nagamit tag inequality symbol nga greater than or equal to. And then, at the expression sa right side and sa left side. So, this inequality means that si y di is greater than, means dako pa or equal ni 3. Okay? So, ingon ana ra ka simple sa inequality, magamit og inequality symbol. So, naara aning 5 ka inequality symbol. Now, how about this one? Okay. Here, we have x squared plus 3 is less than 1. So, as you can see, nagamit inequality symbol nga less than, and then natin expression sa left side and sa right side. Then, this is an example. This is also an example of inequality. Okay? This inequality indicates that sa expression di ay nga x squared plus 3 is less than or gamay pa ni positive 1. Okay? So, I hope na sabdan si algebraic expression, equation, and inequality. So, balik ko na to. Algebraic expression could be a number, a variable, or combination ni number of variable with the operation symbol. So, atay makita nga equal sign or inequality signs. And then, sa equation, of course, na ay equal sign. Equation indicates that ang duha ka expressions are equal. And then, for the inequality, we have magamit og inequality symbol could be less than or equal to, greater than greater than or equal to, or not equal. So si inequality po indicates that ang isa ka expression could be less than ba kaha, less than or equal to, we have greater than or equal to, or not equal or dili equal sa isa ka expression. Okay, so I guess that's it about expression, equation, and inequality. Alright? So, grade 8 topics will be discussed after a short break. This is Astral Academy Cyber School.
Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayon. Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayon. Addition o multiplication, subtraction o ang division. Problema dali ra sulbaron, kay ang mati ay sayon. Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayon. Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayon. Ang mati ay sayon. Ang mati ay sayon.
And we are back, still here in
Astral Academy Cyber School.
Alright, so Ma'am Gay, huminat sa itong grade 7 na topic earlier. So karon mag-talk na po ta about Math 8. Okay, so grade 8 topic for this week, we have here our competency. Okay, so for our competency for this week is illustrate the equivalences of the statement and its contrapositive and the converse and inverse of a statement. Okay? So, last episode, Ma'am Gay, nag-talk ta about, Ma'am Gay, the if-then statement. Okay?
Yes.
So, when we talk about if-then statement, learners, we are actually talking about the conditional statement. And by that statement, we also have what we call the inverse, the converse, and its contrapositive of the given conditional statements. And we already learned that the inverse is, if the conditional is if P, then Q, then for the inverse, that would be if Q, then P. And for the converse is baliktad. No? So if not P, if P, then Q for the conditional, then the converse would be if not P, then not Q. And for the contrapositive is like a combination of the inverse and the converse. It's if P, then Q for the conditional, the contrapositive would be if not Q, then not P. Okay, so let's talk about the equivalent statements. Unsa day pasabot sa equivalent statements? So when we talk about learners equivalent statements, these are actually statements that have the same logical content. So in that case, same sila og truth value. So we have there direct and we flash the table for the truth value of the conditional statement. So as you can see, we have there the hypothesis and the conclusion. The hypothesis represents the P, and the Q represents for the conclusion. So as you can see, for the truth value, naalang tay isa ka false. And in that case, ma-false lang si truth value if the hypothesis is true and the conclusion is false. That's the only time nga ma-false. Other than that, pag true sila both, it's also true. Pag false sila both, they're also true. Pag false si hypothesis and true si conclusion, it is also true. Now, if we're going to illustrate its equivalent statement, we are actually checking the truth values of each. No, Ma'am Gay? So let us have here an example. So this is how we illustrate equivalences, okay, among those statements. So we have there, as you can see in our example, if a number is divisible by 2, then it is divisible by 4. That is a conditional statement. So if we're going to check, okay, so if you're going to evaluate this statement, this is actually false, right, Ma'am Gay? Because not all numbers that are divisible by 2, it is also divisible by 4. What would be our counterexample for that? If mag-talk data learners o counterexample, these are actually example that would make or that supports or that would make the given statement false. Alright? Or that proves that the statement nga dili gyud na siya tinuod. Okay? So that is counterexample. So in this case, it is actually false because our counterexample here is 6. If we're going to consider 6, 6 is actually divisible by 2. Right? So we know that all even numbers are divisible by 2. But 6 is not divisible by 4. Right? It is divisible by 3 and it is divisible by 2, but it's not divisible by 4. So in this given statement, that if a number is divisible by 2, then it is divisible by 4. So in this case, it is actually false, no? So again, our counterexample here is 6. You could also think for other counterexample, just like 18, right? 18 is divisible by 2, but it's not divisible by 4. Ma'am Gay na? Okay. So, in that case, this conditional statement is actually false. Okay, so you can take note there, it's false. Now, if we're going to have the converse statement of this given statement, a conditional statement, if a number is divisible by 2, then it's divisible by 4. So the converse would be, if a number is divisible by 4, then it is also divisible by 2, which is actually true. Okay? This statement is actually true because panang numbers na divisible by 4, divisible yun na siya by 2 because mostly, not all, nga ka lang divisible by 2, divisible po by 4. But, kung balihon na to, pag divisible siya by 4, automatically divisible by 2. You can think of what number divisible by 4, pero dili siya divisible by 2, na aba? Wala. Actually, wala dyan number. Kung makahatag mo na kung number na divisible by 4, then divisible siya by 2 po, then that would be great. Pero I don't think so makahatag because wala dyan number na divisible by 4, which is not divisible by 2. Okay, so this statement, converse statement, is actually true. So take note, the conditional is false, the converse is true. Now, what about the inverse statement? So, if we're going to have the inverse statement of this given, if a number is not divisible by 2, then it is not also divisible by 4. Is it true or false? Well, this statement is right. It is true. Kung dili siya divisible by 2, it follows na dili po siya divisible by 4. This mostly even numbers man gid ni mga 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and so on. So wala jay number nga dili siya divisible og 2, dili pud siya divisible by 4. So this is actually a true statement, the inverse statement. And lastly, for the contrapositive, di ba contrapositive, if not Q, then not P. So in this case, if a number is not divisible by 4, then it is not divisible by 2. Mo na ang mahitabo sa atong contrapositive. So let's try to evaluate this. Is it true or false? Kung a number kuno dili divisible by 4, dili po daw siya divisible by 2. Well, this statement is false. It is a false statement. So kay false man,
what would be our counterexample for this? Well, our counterexample would be 6, right? 6 is not divisible by 4, but it is divisible by 2. Okay? So, though dili siya divisible by 4, pero divisible siya by 2. So, in this case, false gid ang atong contrapositive. So, if we're going to illustrate logically equivalent statements, so we have to look for the truth values of each statement. So, basically, ang conditional nato is false, our converse is true, our inverse is true, and our contrapositive is false. So, in that case, the statements that are logically equivalent are the conditional statement and contrapositive, and the converse statement and inverse statement. Because for the conditional and contrapositive, they are logically equivalent because they are both false. And for the converse and inverse statement, they are logically equivalent also because they are both true. Alright? So that is how simple as we illustrate logically equivalences. Alright? So logical equivalences of the conditional, inverse, converse, and contrapositive. So we hope that on your activity, makatabang na sa inyong hanga example in answering your activities. Alright? So that's it for our grade 8 lesson. We will be right back for our grade 9 topic. Again, this is Astral Academy Cyber School.
Alamin ang teknolohiya sa agrikultura at pangkabuhayan upang umunlad ang ating bayan sagana sa likas na yaman. Halika na mag-ipipina, ipipina, ipipina, halika na.
And we are back, still here in Astral Academy Cyber School. Okay?
Okay, so since we are done with our grade 7 and grade 8 math topic, then now let us proceed to our grade 9 math topic. So for grade 9 mathematics mo nitong competency, we are going to solve equations involving radical expressions. So kung kaganina sa itong grade 7, mathematics, nakahisgot about equation, right? When we say equation again, it has an equal sign, and then natin makita ang expression sa left side and sa right side. So karon, since we're focusing on solving equations involving radical expressions, so naaday mga equations class, Ma'am LV, nga nag-involve og radical. Okay? So unsa kahay tawag ana nga equation, no, nga kanang nag-involve og radical. So now let's talk about this kind of equation. We now have radical equation. So here. So when we say radical equation, it is an equation in which a variable is under a radical sign. So kung makakita gani kay equation nga na ay variable under the radical sign or variable as part of the radicand, then that equation is a radical equation. Pero dili ta makaingon dayon nga dili ta nang equations class nga naay radical radical equation na dayon. So si radical equation ang timan-an lang equation nga si variable is under the radical sign.
So patong letters.
Yes. So now let us have an example ni radical equation. So this one here. If we have an equation, fifth root of x is equal to 3, so this is an equation, of course, it has equal sign or equal symbol. But matawag ba nato ni siya radical equation? Well, ang tawag nato ang variable. So ang variable na igamit aning equation is x. When we say variable, letters, no? Letters in the English alphabet. So here, x is the variable. And as you can see, x here is under the radical symbol. So this is the radical symbol right here. Now, since x is under the radical symbol, or x is part of the radicand, take note, radicand ang tawag ng mga expression nga nasa sulod sa radical symbol. So, if under siya ni radical sign or part of the radicand, again, then kani nga equation is called a radical equation. Okay? Now, how about this equation? Here, if we have an equation, square root of 2x minus 3 equals 5. Of course, equation because of the symbol. But, kung lantaw na to ang variable, is it under the radical sign or is it part of the radicand? Well, of course, part siya ni radicand. It is under the radical sign. So, kay part man siya ni radicand or under the radical sign, so this equation is also a radical equation. Kana lang gitiman ni radical equation. Alantawon lang nimo si variable ug naa ba siya sa sulod ni radical sign. Now, how about this equation, class? Matawag ba ni nato og radical equation? Here, if we have an equation, x plus 3 equals square root of 9. Is this a radical equation? Well, looking at the variables, ang variable nato is naara diri, si x. So, here, ang variable nato is wala na sulod sa radical sign, no? Though na ay radical ang equation, but ang radical nato dire, ang radicand or ang sulod ni radical sign is a number, walay makita nga variable, kaya ang variable nato dire is wala may radical sign, then this equation is not considered as a radical, this is
Not a radical equation.
yes, not a radical equation. So, again ha, dirita makaingon nga, dili gyud tanang equation nga naay radical equation din ang tawag. Radical equation lang ang tawag kung ang variable is inside the radical sign or under the radical sign. So now, since master naman mo class on identifying radical equation, now let us proceed to our main topic, which is solving radical equation. So, unsaon day pag-solve og radical equation? Well, let us have an example. Now, we are going to solve here. Okay. So, we have a radical equation, 9 is equal to cube root of x plus 5. So, how to solve this radical equation? Take note that solving radical equation means solving for the value of the variable or solving for the value of x here that will make this equation true or that will satisfy the equation. So, sa kay value ni variable na to, Ma'am Elvie, no, nga kung kuha na to ang cube root niya, plus na to 5, 9 ang result. Well, to do that, we are going to follow some steps. So, ang first step nato class in solving this equation is we have to isolate the radical that contains the variable. Okay, so here, since mauman ni ang radical that contains the variable, so ato siyang i-isolate. Isolating this means dapat siya ray mabilin or siya ra ang dapat naa sa isa ka side sa equation. Okay? So, but here, na may positive 5 or plus 5 nga sumpay. So, dapat si cube root of x ra alone ang naa ani nga side here sa equation. So, isolating this, dapat si positive 5, ibalhin na to sa pika side. So, transposing positive 5 to the other side of the equation, it becomes negative 5. Okay, take note, mag-transpose ta to the other side of the equation, positive becomes negative and negative becomes positive. So here, si positive 5, ibali na to sa pikas para si cube root of x na lang mahibilin. We now have 9 minus 5 is equal to cube root of x. So as you can see, na-isolate na. Siya na lang isa, si radical na lang isa that contains the variable ang naa sa right side sa equation. So mag-inay first step, learners, nga dapat ang radical that contains the variable, siya ra gyud isa sa isa ka side sa equation. So, ang next step would be simplify. Kung na-simplify, 9 minus 5 here is equal to 4. So, we now have 4 is equal to cube root of x. After that, after isolating the radical that contains the variable, diba, ang goal nato is to find the value of the variable x here. Now, para ma-eliminate na to ang radical, cube root. So, para ma-eliminate na to or ma-cancel out na to si cube root, si x na lang mahibilin, what will we do? Okay? So, itong buhaton is mag-raise ta og power, both sides sa equation. But, unsa ka nga power ang ato ang erase? Well, mag-matter og unsay index sa radical. So, since ang index sa radical na to here is 3, so, ang ato pong power is 3. So, kung mag-raise kag power diri nga side sa equation, mag-raise po tag power nga 3 diri nga side po sa equation. Okay? So, unsay buhaton sa pika side, mapoy buhaton sa pika side. Simplifying, we now have 4 cubed, that is 4 times 4 times 4, not 4 times 3. Okay? Again, 4 cubed means 4 times 4 times 4. And that is equal to 4 times 4 is 16. Times 4, that is 64. Okay? Here, simplifying this, pareha mag-index, Inyong timanan, since inyong timanan learners is this one. If parehag index ang radical, then pareha og power, you can cancel the radical na dayon. Okay? And the power. So, canceling them out, ang nahibili na lang is the variable. Okay? So, we now have the value of the variable. So, we now have 64 is equal to x, or x is equal to 64. Okay? Now, para ma-check na to class, og 64 ba gyud ang value ni x nga mo satisfy sa equation, well, you can do the checking. Okay? So, pwede ninyo i-check ang inyuhang obtained value sa variable para ma-sure mo kung sakto ba gyud ang inyuhang answer. So, saan pag-check? You just substitute the value of the variable to the original equation. Okay? So, here, kay 64 man ang value sa obtained value ni x na to, so ato na po siyang i-substitute sa original equation. So, doing the checking, you can copy the original equation first para guided mo. So, we have 9 equals cube root of x plus 5. Okay? Now, since x is equal to 64, then substituting that to our equation, we now have 9 is equal to cube root of 64 plus 5. So, cube root of 64, that is, so unsa man nga number, it times by itself 3 times 64 ang answer. 4. So, walay lain kundi 4. So, we now have 9 is equal to 4 plus 5. What is 4 plus 5? That is 9. So, 9 is equal to 9. So, therefore, kay true man ang pag-check, it means that the value of the variable, which is 64, satisfies the original equation man, then this is our answer, or this is the solution of this radical equation. Okay? So, pwede na po din yung class, di na mo mag-hagog solve sa checking, pwede na po idiretso ninyo og substitute. Yes. Kaya para dili na hago na og solve sa checking, pwede rin nyo ingon anion. Since x is equal to 64, so pulihan na ninyo 64 ang x here, so we now have cube root of 64, that is 4. 4 plus 5, that is equal to 9. So, kay sakto man nag-check ninyo, then you can conclude that 64 is the value of x. Okay, that will make the original equation true. Right? So, mo na importante sa pag-check. Because there are some cases man good class nga na value sa variable nga dili mo satisfy sa original equation. Okay? So, if that's the case, then ang value sa variable would be called here, extraneous solution. Okay? When we say extraneous solution, it is a solution of a simplified version of an equation that does not satisfy the original equation. So, that is what I am saying. Dapat gyud mag-check no sa value sa variable kay there are cases nga dili mo satisfy si value. Yes. So, if that's the case, nga dili mo satisfy, then that solution is called extraneous solution. Now, let us have another example. Okay? So, here. Para inyo yung makita, kung sa dahil si extraneous solution. Alright?
So, again, the steps would be, you have to isolate the term that has where the variable is inside the radical sign, and then if it's cube root, then you raise power to 3. If it's also square root, then you have to raise to the power of 2 so that you can cancel out the index.
Okay, so here, let us have another example. If we have y minus 4 is equal to square root of 2y. So again, this is a radical equation because as you can see, ang variable is under the radical sign or part of the radical. Or a radicand rather, okay? So now solving this radical equation, we are going to find the value of y that will make this equation true. So again, first step nato would be isolating the radical that contains the variable. So this is the radical that contains the variable, okay? So since naka-isolate naman siya, kay siya raman isa sa right side sa equation, so no need na nga step 1 pa ta, mag-transpose pa ta or what, kaya naka-isolate naman siya. So, let us proceed to our step 2. Our step 2 would be, we are going to cancel out the radical. Okay? So, again, canceling out the radical, mag-raise to og power, depende sa index nato sa equation. Now, since our index here is 2, kay square root man, then we are going to raise both sides of the equation by a power of 2. Okay? So, we now have this one. So, ana lang. O kung sa index sa radical, mao po inyuhang power. So, kung nag-raise kag power of 2 sa right side, then mao po sa left side to balance the equation. So, here, proceed. Simplify. Square root of 2y raised to the power of 2, that is
2y.
Cancel out. So, ang nahibili na lang is the radicand 2y. Next, y minus 4 squared. This is a square of binomial, right? So, squaring a binomial, you can use FOIL method. Okay? So, diri nga, kuan lang, separate lang a solution. So, we have y minus 4 squared. Y minus 4 squared means y minus 4 times y minus 4. Okay? Using FOIL method, you can have y times y, that is
Y squared.
y squared. Y times negative 4, that is
Negative 4y.
yes. And then negative 4 times y, that is
Negative 4y.
yes. And negative 4 times negative 4 is
Positive
positive 16. Now, combining similar terms, negative 4y minus 4y is equal to negative 8y. So, we now have y squared minus 8y plus 16. Okay, so mo ni ang simplified version ni square of y minus 4. We have y squared minus 8y plus 16. So, we are not yet done. It's because si y na to dire is napay 2 nga,
Yes.
what do you call this one?
Coefficient.
Numerical coefficient. So, unsay buhaton na to next? We are going to transpose the term 2y to the left side of the equation. So, it becomes negative. So, we now have y squared minus 8y plus 16 minus 2y is equal to 0. Okay? So, ato lang next step is atong i-equate to 0 ang trinomial diri sa our left side. So, si 2y, ito lang ibalhin sa left side, okay? So, positive man siya, it becomes negative, alright? And then, here, combining similar terms, we have negative 8y minus 2y. That is negative 10y. So, copy. Copy lang nato si y squared, and then si positive 16, and don't forget to equate to 0. Okay, here, we now have a trinomial, is 1, okay? Now, to find the value of y here, what will we do?
Factor.
Factor. So, you are going to factor out this trinomial. So, pwede ka mag-trial and error method to factor this trinomial. That is, unsa may factor ni 16.
We have 4 times 4 and 8 times 2.
Yes, that, i-consider po na to ang
Middle
numerical coefficient sa middle term nga negative 10. So, mangita kag factors ni 16 nga ang sum is negative 10. And that is negative 8 and negative 2. So, we now have the factors of this trinomial. We have y minus 8 times y minus 2. Don't forget to equate to 0. Negative 8 times negative 2 is positive 16. Negative 8 minus 2 is negative 10. Okay? But, paghihapon ta na human. Now, our goal, don't forget that we are going to find for the value of the variable y. So, here, since naka-equate man ang duha ka factors to 0, then we are going to use now the zero product property. We are going to equate each factor to 0. So, we now have y minus 8 equals 0. And then, ito lang i-separate ang factors. And then, we now have y minus 2 is equal to 0. Alright? Now, finding for the value of y, we are going to transpose negative 8 to the right side of the equation para si y na lang mahibilin. So, negative 8 becomes positive 8. So, y is equal to positive 8. Okay? So, mao ni isa ka solution. How about the other solution? We now have finding the value of y here. So, negative 2, i-transpose ito sa pika side. So, it becomes positive 2. So, we now have y is equal to positive 2. Okay? Now, So we obtained two solutions. We have y is equal to 8 and y is equal to 2. Okay? So, to check, kung asa gid ani nilang duha or kanay baging duha nga values ni y ang answer or solution sa original equation, well, you can do the checking. Okay? Now, we are going to check. Start ni y is equal to 8. So again, pag mag-check gani ka, i-substitute ra nimo ang values ni y or variable sa tanang variable sa original equation. Now, since y is equal to 8 man, pwede ta mo diretso learners, no? We have, pulihan lang nato ang tanang y ug 8. So we now have 8 minus 4 is equal to square root of
2 times 8.
2 times 8. Okay, here. So 8 minus 4, simplify. 8 minus 4 is 4. Is equal to, what is square root of 2 times 8? That is 16. What is square root of 16? That is 4. And 4 is equal to 4. Yes. So, check. True. Okay? Now, since y is equal to 8 satisfies man the original equation, therefore, si y is equal to 8 is the solution. Okay? But how about y is equal to 2? Panahibaw eh. So we have to check first. Okay? So if y is equal to 2, mo-satisfy ba ka siya sa original equation? Like, true ba ka gihapon ang result? Well, let us do the checking. Okay? So here, if y is equal to 2, then pulihan lang nato 2 ang tanang y sa equation. So we now have, idiretso lang nato, we have 2 minus 4 is equal to square root of 2 times 2. Okay? Simplify. 2 minus 4 is equal to negative 2. And then, 2 times 2 here is 4. So we now have square root of 4. What is square root of 4? That is, of course, 2. And then, sa left side, we have negative 2. Now, is negative 2 equal ni 2? Of course, dili. So therefore, the value of y, which is 2, does not satisfy the original equation. Kay false man ang result. So, kani si y is equal to 2 is not the solution. It is called, say tawag?
Solution.
Yes. Ang tawag ni y is equal to 2 is extraneous solution. Okay? So, muna ka-importante ni checking. So, checking is very important para atong mahibawan og na ba extraneous solution ang atoang original radical equation. Okay? So, in this case, in this example, ang solution ra gyud ni y minus 4 is equal to square root of 2y is this one. Y is equal to 8. Okay? So, I hope na sabtan o kung saan pag-solve og radical equation. So, Grade 10 topic will be discussed after a short break. This is
Astral Academy Cyber School.
Tayo na. Buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo na. Tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na.
subtraction o ang division. Problema dali resolbaron, kay ang mati ay sayo. Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayo. Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayo. Ang mati ay sayo. Ang mati ay sayo.
And,
We're back, still here in Astral Academy Cyber School.
alright, so Ma'am Gay, humanas itong grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9 topic for this week. Alright, so this time, let us have the grade 10. So our competency for our grade 10 is graph and solve problems involving circles and other geometric figures on the coordinate plane. Okay, so Ma'am Gay, last episode, we actually discussed on the equation of the circle or the center radius form. We also identify the radius and its center using using those given equations. Okay, so this time let us learn how to graph. All right, so let's start with, okay, so ano to pag-graph? So there are cases wherein our center is on the origin. So that means ang center nasa point nga 0, 0 na Cartesian coordinate plane. And there are also cases which the center cannot be found on the origin, but it's any quadrant of the coordinate plane. So in this case, let's start with, what if the center is on the origin or the point 0, 0? So basically, pag ang center naa sa origin, the equation form or the form of the equation of the circle is actually x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. So as you can see, we don't have the point h and k. So now learn nato last episode that the point hk represents the center, alright? So in this case, we can't see the point hk because yes, the center is on the origin. So that means ang h nimo is 0, your k is also 0. So dili nimo siya makita there. And of course, our r here represents our radius. So again, when we talk about radius, it's same distance kay circle man siya, no? So from the center. All right, so let's have our first example. What if, or how are we going to graph if the equation of the circle is given by this equation, x squared plus y squared is equal to 4. So by just looking at the equation, automatically, our h and k in this case is on the point 0, 0. So that means our center is at the origin, point 0, 0. So if you're going to plot that one, of course, in graphing, you have to plot first the center and then plot the radius. That's actually the steps. Okay, so again, first is you have to plot the center, and then second is plot the radius. And then third, na pada ikatulo, Ma'am Gay, we connect all these 4 points because if we're going to plot the radius, mga good learners, we have to plot the right, same unit, up, left, and below. Mga ginay concept sa radius. From the center, same gina sila og units. No? Up, right, down, below. And we have to connect the 4 points. Before dito magpadayon, Ma'am Gay, nalimot na sa tong second attendance marker. So learners, before ta magpadayon sa pag-graph ani atong example, take note of our second attendance marker. So makita na to sa top of our screen. Alright? So take note na. Then let's continue. So again, plot the center. Then next is the radius, and then connect these 4 points using a smooth curve para ma-form na siyang circle. You can actually use compass if you have compass at home. Perfect yun ang circle. But now, wala pa may compass, no? So, dili good perfect ang circle. Mga na may pasensya daan. Alright, so let's continue. X squared plus y squared is equal to 4 is the given equation. So basically, again, our center is at the point 0, 0. And in this case, again, our radius is here, this is 4 man. So, since it's represented by r squared, so if we're going just to get the r, we just have to directly get the square root of this given value. So, since the given value here is 4, then that means we have to get the square root of 4. And square root of 4 is actually equal to 2. So, pasabot, ang atong radius is equal to 2. So, we already have the center. We already have the radius. Let's plot these two. First, point 0, 0. So in this case, ang mahitabo, mao ni ang ato ang center. It's on the origin. Next is the radius. Again, ang radius up, left, down, and right. So 2 units. So from the center, we have to count 2 units to the right. 1, 2. This is our first point. Same thing buhaton sa taas. Units, same units. 1, 2. The second point. And for the third point, on the left, same units. 1, 2. The third point. And for our fourth point, same number of units downward. So that is 1, 2. This is actually the fourth point. Okay, so we already have the 4 points. Then again, I'll say next, we have to connect these 4 points using smooth curve. Okay? Para maporma gid siyang circle. So paningkamutan ako, Ma'am Gay, nga perfect ang ato ang circle this afternoon. Mura ginay ka perfect na, Ma'am Gay. Okay, so as you can see, this is now the graph of the equation x squared plus y squared is equal to 4. So the center is at the origin, the radius is equal to 2. So ingon ani lang kadali pag graph given an equation that the center is at the origin. Okay? So, if you have questions, you can comment down below. Alright, so what if the center is dili sa origin? Let us have another example. So, before ko maghatag sa example, Ma'am Gay, atong balikon, the center radius form is represented by x minus h squared times a plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Alright? So, basically, ang atong center here is the point HK. Ang atong radius, of course, same gihapon. That is our r. Okay? Muna siya makita nato din ha. So, let's have second example. Our second example would be, what if the equation is x minus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared is equal to 25. Okay? So, as you can see, kaganina, lahi na siyang porma. Mo ni siya, if in ani na gani ang form, this is called the center radius form of the equation. Pasabot, the center is not already or cannot be found at the origin na. So, naa na siya any quadrants of the Cartesian coordinate plane. So, ang first thing nga buhaton nato ani, of course, identify the center. So, sa'yo naman mag-identify sa center because it's represented by H and K. Right? So, in this given example, pasabot, our H would be 1, our K is automatically equal to 2. So, in that case, the center would be at point 1, 2. Nakuha? Alright. Very good. So, next is, we already have the center. Now, let's find the radius. The radius is, of course, we just have to get the square root of our given value here at the right side. So, since the given value is 25, so let's get the square root of 25. Square root of 25 is equal to, right, it's 5. So, therefore, our radius here is equal to 5. So, we already have the center. We already have the radius. So, next is, same thing. Let's plot this too. So, first, let's plot the center 1, 2. Let's use the other Cartesian plane for our second example. Point 1, 2 is, makita na to again, you have to plot 1 and 2. So, basically, maon yung ato ang center. Point 1, 2. It's found on quadrant 1. Alright, the next is plot the radius. The radius is 5, so that means we have to move 5 units from the center to the right, then 5 units from the center upward, 5 units from the center to the left, and 5 units from the center downward. Let's do that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first point. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The second point. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The third point. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we have a bigger circle here compared to our first example. So we already have 4 points. Then let's connect these 4 points using smooth curve. So let's do this. Let's try our best to make it perfect circle. But it's not a perfect because we don't have compass. Okay. Alright, so this is already the graph of our second example, or the given equation. The square of x minus 1 plus the square of y minus 2 is equal to 25. So, as simple as that. Again, you have to find first the center, then the radius, then you plot it on a Cartesian coordinate plane, and you connect those 4 points using smooth curve. So, as simple as that. So, that is how we graph equation of a circle. Alright? So, another competency, it's part of our competency, is other geometrical figures. So, basically, same lang gihapon ang atong buhaton. We just have to plot the given points on the Cartesian coordinate plane. So, the very basic thing nga buhaton nato diri is ma-master ninyo unsaon pag-plot sa points in a Cartesian plane. And you already learned that one when you were still in grade 8. As early as grade 8, ma'am na? Okay, so, what about this figure? Let's plot this figure. We have here given points. Okay, I cannot write the given points, but let's just say it. Point A, 0, 0. Point B, negative 1, 4. Point C, negative 5, 0. And point D, negative 6, 4. Then let's find out what geometrical figure atong makita. So again, let's plot the first point, 0, 0. That would be our point A. So again, this is our point A. Next is the second point, negative 1, 4. So negative 1 is x and positive 4 cy. So basically, this is our second point. This is our point B. Next is the negative 5, 0. So negative 5, 0 is on the x-axis. So this is our point C. And the last point given is negative 6, 4. Negative 6, 4. This is now our fourth point. So this is our point D. After plotting the given points, of course, same with the circle, we have to connect these points. So to connecting these points, we can form Okay, so what have you seen? Alright, this forms a parallelogram. Alright? So our shape or geometrical figure forms a parallelogram. Okay? So that inanara ka simple unsaon pag-graph ato ang circle and other geometrical figures. So we do hope that nasabtan ninyo ang atong lessons na discuss natin today from grade 7 to grade 10 topics. Alright, so stay tuned. We will be right back after a short break. This is Astral Academy Cyber School.
Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayon. Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayon. Addition o multiplication, subtraction o ang division. Problema dali ra sulbaron, kay ang mati ay sayon. Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayon. Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayon. Ang mati ay sayon. Ang mati ay sayon.
And we're back, still here in Astral Academy Cyber School. Alright, so mga guys, so we do hope nga nakatun mo sa ato mga lessons today. No? So, before we would thank the people behind this program, of course, din ito malinta ng atong third attendance marker. So, makita na ninyo sa taas sa inyong screen ang atong third attendance marker. So, take note na. Alright, so we would thank our, of course, executive producer, Sir Gasepe. Thank you so much, sir. And also our production team. Okay, so we have here our production team for this afternoon. We have Sir Abapo, Sir Saavedra, and Sir Norbel. Julio. Alright, so, I'm sorry. Okay, so, and of course, thank you so much, learners. Thank you so much, learners, for watching our live this afternoon. So, thank you so much. See you on our next live. This has been, again, Miss Elvinueva.
And Ma'am Gay Saavedra.
Alright, so again, this is Astral Academy Cyber School. Bye!